Hello everyone, this is Bakari's Mobile Mechanic Service here in Greater Greensboro, North Carolina. We are working on a 2008 Dodge Caliber. It is a 2.0, I believe. The customer complained about a steering problem, a steering noise. And these particular vehicles have had problems with suspension, everywhere from the little control arm right here I'm showing you. I just replaced it not too long ago. Rack and pinion, struts, strut mounts, brakes, and bearings. Today we're doing a lower outer tie rod end. Now don't worry about the dripping. I just sprayed it with some penetrating oil to bust it loose. It's a fairly simple job. Get a good jack. Okay, I gotta get my jack stand. I'll show you that in a second. This nut is an 18. Just loosen that nut up. And basically what you're doing when you're doing a tie rod end job, the main important thing is try to keep it aligned. If you don't have a machine, if you're not working at a shop, you're doing a side job, whatever. The thing I like to do is loosen this nut. First, you gotta break this gem nut. Just loosen it. You don't have to unscrew it. Just once you feel it loosen, it should be okay. Let me get my tool and show you. Here you go. In a second, it will be just. This is a 7/8. I'm trying to focus, sorry. But you pretty much break this nut. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm doing it with one hand, so y'all just bear with me. Here. Let's see. Okay. Now, if you notice, the nut is broken. See it moving, it's broken. You just have to make sure it's loose. You don't have to do this and unscrew it all the way. Just kind of make sure it's loose. That's it. It's loose. And somebody marked it. Apparently, he had a front end alignment not too long ago, I guess, and somebody marked it. So that's a good thing. Just make sure it's loose, like this. And like I said, if you don't have a machine and you're doing a tie rod end job, outer especially, not outer and inner, on any vehicle, this don't have to be an 08 Caliber, Dodge like this one is. It can be any vehicle. The first thing you want to do is break this nut loose. It's called a jam nut. Okay, just break it loose like that. Okay, just make sure you don't have to unscrew it back. Just get it tight. Once you break it with the wrench, okay, just make sure it's loose. Okay, and once you break this nut, it's an 18 millimeter. You're gonna unscrew it. Now you may need a hammer to kind of jolt this loose from the stern knuckle. Don't worry, since you're replacing tie rod, you can hit it right here or you can hit it right here. Not really gonna matter. This is kind of cast iron, so it's not gonna break anything. Might put a little scrapes in it, but nothing real significant. So once you loosen this all the way up to about right there, maybe 2 or 3 threads, go ahead and knock it loose. And once it's not loose, when you knock it loose with the hammer, it's going to drop out. Now mind you still have this nut loose. Once it drop out, you have to replace the tie rod end. You're ready to replace the tie rod end. The way you do it to try to keep the car aligned as close as possible. And also, here's a note: whenever you're doing an outer or inner tie rod end job, get the car aligned immediately. The next day, next whatever, get it aligned immediately. The technician or mechanic who's working on it can get it as close as he can, but you have to get it aligned at a shop with a computerized alignment immediately. And the reason I'm saying that is because the mechanic will get it close as it can. Some mechanics use different methods. My method is to count the threads. Once this drops out the stern knuckle and you have it over here on a separate part, just count the threads. 1, 2, 3. Now you can start with the top 1. That's counterclockwise. 2 and 3. Now if the tie rod end separates, if the outer tie rod end separates from the inner tie rod end, right there at the top on 3, you know to put it back at 3. Okay, let's say you start at the top and you say 1, 2, 3, and it drops when it's down. That means 3.5 turns. Okay, remember that's what you have to do to get it as close as aligned as possible. But it's always a good note to make sure once you finish the tie rod end job, tell your customer, or if you're doing it yourself, go to the shop and have a computer alignment. On a regular 4-cylinder 2-wheel drive vehicle, it'll range between $50 to $75 depending on the shop. Okay, but once you do the tie rod end job, it's not really a hard job to do. Get it aligned. And the notes, the most important thing I'm trying to tell you guys is this nut right here. Just break it loose like you saw me, like that. Just make sure it's just loose. You don't have to be all the way back here, because then you're gonna have a hell of a time getting this thing aligned. It might take you all night. But just break it loose, loosen this up, jolt it loose with the hammer, and once it drop down, turn it and count your turns. So if, let's say it comes off, start with the top. You see how it's at the top? The tar rod end shooting at the top, coming through the top of the stern knuckle. Start at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it drops at top on, let's say 7, then you turn it back, get it back on there at 7. If it drops at the bottom, it's half of that number. So let's say you take it apart from the stern knuckle and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it drops at the bottom, then it's 7.5. But you know, that'll help you with the alignment, and you get it close as possible. It'll still be droppable. It'll be probably about 90% in a line. But whenever you do a tie rod end job, inner or outer, y'all, definitely get the alignment. And again, we're working on a 2008 Dodge Caliber, simple job, 7/8 wrench to this nutter part. This is an 18mm and a good strong hammer, and of course getting the studs off your wheel. But that's it. Like I said, it's not a real hard job, but once you finish this job, get the car lined up. It's definitely going to need it. So comment, like, subscribe. Anyway, y'all have a good day and be blessed.